Well, top of the morning to you. The afternoon and the evening. Okay, can anybody tell me, were they shocked at hearing that the Nigerian election 2019 has been delayed? Was anybody shocked? Oh, dear me. Nigeria, Nigeria, Nigeria. When Jonathan lost his election, it went through, if I remember, without much problem. But the other thing that he made it very clear, he did not want any violence in his name. He wanted everything to go peacefully. You see, the North consistently wants to fuck up Nigeria. Obasanjo was from the South, the Yoruba man who had converted to Christianity. Did pretty well. I mean, there was a few issues, as always, but the point is, he implemented quite a few things. Then his successor came in from the North and then kindly handed over to Jonathan, who did a pretty good job. There was a few people, as usual, those from the North and those who were Muslim, screaming and shouting that he was a bad president. They wanted him out. We don't want him. It's only because he was from the South and he was a Christian. So he got booted out. Who steps in? Buhari. What happened? A recession. So we went from number one in Africa, beating South Africa, back to number two. I believe Nigeria's just come out of a recession. Dear, dear, dear. Appeal for calm after shock delay. Why is anybody shocked? Why is anybody shocked? Nigeria's president and leading opposition candidate have appealed for calm after the shock move to delay elections for a week. Fuck up after fuck up after fuck up. Nigeria has been dubbed in the past the Lion of Africa. Nah. I'm afraid it's far from that. It's got a huge way to go before it can even be classed as that. Huge way to go. I think there was one time when Malaysia and Nigeria were sort of pegged at being very similar in economy. I think Malaysia does a lot of palm oil stuff or whatever it was. But it seems to me that Malaysia as a country has developed its country, has moved ahead of Nigeria. Ahead of Nigeria. When it should have been the other way around. President bloody Buhari said he was deeply disappointed, but urged people to refrain from civil disorder. Why? They're pissed. They want to elect someone else, probably, hopefully, to kick his bony ass out. None of my family was surprised. Dear me. Main rival, Atiku, called for patience but accused the administration of anti-democratic acts. Of course, he's absolutely right. Election officials cited logistical reasons for the 11th hour delay in presidential and parliamentary polls. Anger and frustrations after Nigeria poll delay. The superpower with no power. Now, does Nigerians' generation democracy want to vote? Of course they want to vote. They want to kick that bony walking stick out. In a press conference on Saturday, the chair of the Independent National Electoral said the decision to delay had nothing to do with political influence. Bollocks. Let's continue. So the two main parties, the ruling All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party, both condemned the move and accused each other of trying to manipulate the vote. Oh, God. The dimwit Buhari, who's had two bites of the cherry. He'd been in before. I think it lasted 18 months and there was a queue and he kicked his bony ass out. And he's back now to finish, you know, he's back now to try and finish off the job. So he's off the APC party, urged Nigerians to refrain from civil disorder and remain peaceful, patriotic and united to ensure that no force or conspiracy derail our democratic development. His main rival, Atiku, called for calm over the next 7 days. And what will happen in 7 days? Will we have another delay after that? I won't be surprised. Saying, I'm appealing to Nigerians to please come out and vote. And I'm asking them to be patient about it. Hopefully this could go in his favour, this guy here. I don't know much about him. But he's a lot considerably younger looking than Buhari. Personally, he looks a bit more statesman-like. Again, I mean, this is a Muslim, but what can we do? In the tweet, he said the administration was trying to disenfranchise the electorate. The chairman of the PDP, Uche Secondus, said the delay was dangerous to our democracy, accusing Mr. Buhari of trying to cling on to power even when it's obvious to him that Nigerians want him out. Of course. Hopefully this will kick his ass out, his bony ass out. In many cases, they reacted with disappointment, frustration and anger. In the Nigerian town, I can't pronounce it, but anyway, who travelled, Jesus Christ, 342 miles from Abuja to take part in the election, told the BBC he couldn't believe what happened. Well, I'm not surprised. 300. That's about from London, nearly from London to Scotland. Yeah, I think Scotland's about 400 miles. To Edinburgh to London is about 400 miles. So you're looking at that kind of distance. Then a Nigerian woman, said she was greatly disappointed to learn of the delay when she came to cast her vote in the northern city of Kano. We spent all night without sleep hoping to vote today, a voter said, in Maiduguri. And then someone in the city of Warri told I think it's a French newspaper, I see this postponement of the election as a ploy to rig. And another guy in Abuja told Associated Press, I came all the way from my home to cast my vote this morning. I'm not happy. I'm very, very angry. And so you should be. I mean, this is just an embarrassment. I mean, Nigeria seems to consistently embarrass itself when it comes to this kind of nonsense and shenanigans. Electoral officials bore the brunt of the anger. The height of incompetence. You waited till 3 a.m. Nigerian time to break a news as critical as this, after 3 whole years which you had to plan. What a joke. That's a guy, Femi, on Twitter. You had 4 years and more than enough financing, and you gave us this. The INEC of today is a huge disgrace and one of the institutions that need to be repositioned once the new government takes over. I never had faith in the current INEC chair, and he just justified my reservations. So why was it voting postponed? The electoral chief, our decision was entirely taken by the commission. It has nothing to do with security, nothing to do with political influence. Bollocks. He said the delay was down to problems with the transportation of electoral materials, ballot boxes, and result sheets to some parts of the country. Well, if you're trying to use bloody goats and carts to get things done, it's a little bit, it's going to be a bloody delay. I'm joking. They do have trucks in Nigeria. Whether they have fuel is another issue. Whether they're roadworthy, again, is another issue. He had earlier said the decision was made because of a determination. Let's start again. He had earlier said the decision. The decision was made because of a determination to conduct fair, open, and credible elections. Bollocks! Everybody else in the world can have elections on time, but without any surprise, Nigeria ballsed it up. Breaking news. The elections now to hold on the 23rd of February 2019 for Presidential and National Assembly, while the governorship, State House of Assembly, blah, 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 on the 19th of March. Bunch of wankers. In the past 2 weeks, several INEC offices have been set alight with thousands of electronic smart card readers and voter cards destroyed. Okay, didn't realize that. But then, how was that able to allow? How were they able to allow that to happen when there should have been enough security to secure these? Nigeria has seen violence in the run-up to elections, and on Saturday, 11 people were killed in an attack by those wankers, those tossers, Boko Donkey Iran, or whatever, militants south of Maiduguri. Here we go. Here we go. There's a guy up at the BBC. Oh, Fernal Keane, BBC Africa editor. Suspicions of skullduggery, rampant rumour mongering, had a predisposition to suspect the worst, based on past experience, are trademarks of Nigerians' election season. It is not surprising that some voters expressed their fear that a fix was being organised. The Election Commission chairman has denied this, citing bad weather and the challenge of getting the necessary resources to the right areas. But as recently as Wednesday, he was assuring Nigerians that the commission was ready for the elections. Clearly, you are talking bollocks. Recriminations began soon after the announcement. The opposition claimed there was a government plan to create a low turnout that would harm its candidate. But there has been no calls for street protests from the opposition, which is prepared to wait for the polls next Saturday. Importantly, the two main candidates have appealed to their supporters to remain calm. Well, that's hopefully will do the job, because unfortunately sometimes I'm afraid Nigerians can get way emotional in their behaviour. The presidential and parliamentary votes have been rescheduled for Saturday the 23rd of February. Blah, 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 blah. How important is this poll? The future of Africa's most populous nation and largest economy. Is it largest or is it second largest to South Africa still? Don't know. Is at stake. Followed, I'm not interested in that sort of bollocks. Whoever wins will have to address power shortages, corruption, security problems, and a sluggish economy. There are 73 registered candidates in the presidential election, but campaigning has been dominated by President Buhari, 76, and Atiku, 72. God, I thought he was much younger than that. Wow. Well, as you know, as they say, if it's black, it doesn't crack. Mr. Buhari said he has built a strong foundation of prosperity. Really? I thought Nigeria had been in a recession, and this guy's saying the economy is sluggish. But his rival says Nigeria is not functioning. Both men are from the mainly Muslim north of the country. Exactly. While both are in their 70s, more than half of Nigeria's 84 million registered voters are under the age of 35. Wow. Let's see. Nigerian election. Anger and frustration after poll delay. So people had turned up at the poll station before they heard the postponement. Many Nigerians woke up wondering whether the last-minute postponement of the presidential election was fake news. Oh, brilliant. That is fake news. Donald Trump's favorite word or words. And that is obviously got to be in the Oxford Dictionary. It's being used now. Fantastic. In the middle of the night, just 5 hours before polls were due to open, independent Nigerian Electoral Commission told a hastily arranged press conference that the vote had been delayed by a week because of logistical problems. Initial disbelief was followed by anger, frustration, and resignation. Who resigned? Let's have a look. So someone had travelled 340 miles from the capital of Abuja to vote in the far northern town of whatever, told the BBC that he couldn't believe what had happened. So this is said person, travelled a long way, and he's clearly pissed off. He is one of many Nigerians to have made a journey to their home states to take part in the poll. I don't know what to do now. I'm not happy. That he's pissed. He's now faced with a choice of staying in his hometown and missing out on work, repeating the journey, or not bothering to vote next week. Yeah. So this puts people in a dilemma. Clearly, he's travelled through. He works in the Abuja. It's cost him money to come back, a lot of money. I mean, it's not small change, and now he's got to decide. If he misses work, he could be in trouble. He might lose his job. Whether to go back to Abuja and then come back again, which is spending money that he doesn't really have much of, or just not bothering, which could reduce the electoral people of votes. So there's been anger online apparently. There's been an outpouring of frustration on Twitter, as usual, with postponement and whatever, all trending. This geezer Bobby have called the Electoral Commission incompetent. People travelled. People actually entered vehicles. They actually entered vehicles, did they? Wow, they got into vehicles and travelled on Nigerian roads. Wow. So they got into vehicles. That's fantastic. Wow, Nigerians have vehicles. And they've got roads to drive the vehicles on. Because of this election. And you postponed it on the morning it was supposed to hold. You are very incompetent. Oh, dear me. Here we go. Others are sharing a video clip from a recent interview where he said there is no possibility of postponement and wondering what had changed. Incompetent wanks. This particular clip, this girl here, her father was the governor of Benin, and he did basically a fuck up of the whole of the town of Benin, and made a lot of money. And she's obviously got access because of her father's connections to people in government. So the question is being asked, could the postponement affect turnout? Those who had intended to vote would have planned their day around it. The whole country was essentially going to shut down as travel was restricted. So the only option were to stay at home or go to the polling station. So this woman said she was greatly disappointed. I think we spoke about her before, because she came out to cast for vote. There is also concern that the postponement may lead to fewer people turning out to vote next week. Exactly. In the southeastern city of Warri, Chukwu, I should be able to pronounce his being an Igbo. We'll just call him Chooks, who would not give his first name. Oh, right, okay. Was very angry. Nigeria has shown that it's corrupt, he said. And next Saturday, we're not going to come out. He's pissed. But some have not been discouraged. Someone from in the Plateau State, in the country's middle belt, had started queuing on Thursday, telling the BBC that he wanted to be the first person to vote. Responding to this postponement, he said he was still determined to come back. That's the Nigerian people's spirit. When their government fucks up, the people keep on pushing, even with the incompetence of the government. And in the city of Yola in the northeast, this woman said she would vote next week because if you vote, you can change things. Of course you can. That's the whole point. Trying to be optimistic, some have said that the postponement will mean that the vote should run smoothly next week. Oh, God. Let's be crossing our fingers, our toes, and everything else you can cross. Can I go to Canada? Canada is another topic on Twitter, as people kindly asked about the possibility of emigrating. One person wrote, "My country postponed election at 3 a.m. when the nation was asleep. Please accept me as a citizen and I would uphold your values." Complete bollocks. Dear Canada. Igbo Wolf. Please, I need a new country. I have a strong 2-1. I know how to use Microsoft Office. I can work without supervision. Really? I think you need to be supervised, mate. You might nick all the silver. I don't do drugs. That's good. My country postponed the election at 3 a.m. when the nation was asleep. Please accept me as a citizen and I would uphold your values. Another has shared a video of himself singing along to what he says is the Canadian national anthem. Really? No, we don't want to hear you, wanker. So there you go. At least some people have tried to look on the bright side of it. That sounds like a song somewhere. Somehow look on the bright side of life. Doo-doo. Ah, yes, it's been sung before. Anyway, so, yep, as usual, unfortunately, Nigeria is again laughing stock of the world. Well, we look forward to next Saturday, and let's hope the election goes ahead. Thanks for listening.